Now, Mr. Biden's emergency trip to the Middle East was always going to be difficult. His support for Israel since the start of the war couldn't be clearer. But after the explosion at that hospital in Gaza, in which hundreds of people are reported to have been killed, not only has President Biden expressed his backing by turning up in Israel, but he also said that he thinks the blast was not Israel's fault. He had, of course, been expecting to meet Arab leaders on that trip, but plans changed as those leaders who were due to meet the president in Jordan pulled out of the meeting. In other words, Mr. Biden's trip was short-circuited as a consequence of that explosion and the fact that he came out clearly on the side of the Israelis. Mr. Biden has now ended his visit to Israel. But where does all this leave the US and its ability to influence the situation? And how much has that blast at a hospital in Gaza and President Biden's ironclad support for Israel stoked the ever-rising tensions in the Middle East?
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you. But there's a lot of people out there not sure. So we've got to overcome a lot of things. And it also means encouraging life-saving capacity to help the Palestinians who are innocent, caught in the middle of this.
Egypt rejects any attempt to resolve the Palestinian issue by military means or through the forced displacement of Palestinians from their land, which would come at the expense of the countries of the region. I stressed in this regard that Egypt will continue with its position that lies in support of the legitimate Palestinian right to their lands and their people's struggle. The idea of displacement of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip to Egypt simply means that a similar situation will occur by the displacement of Palestinians from the West Bank to Jordan. This means that the idea of a Palestinian state that we're discussing and that the international community is discussing will no longer be possible.
Well, that's President Sisi of Egypt, and before him we heard from the US President Joe Biden. Well, earlier on this program we spoke to the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, and now I'm joined in the studio by the ambassador of Palestine to Nigeria, Abdullahi Abu Shawesh. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Let's start with those conflicting reports about who caused the explosion at that hospital in Gaza. Was it, as the Israelis claim, a Palestinian militant rocket that misfired?
Just a few minutes after they explode, they pumping Al-Ahli Hospital, the Palestinian hospital, the Christian Palestinian hospital, Naftali Hanania Naftali, the digital spokesman of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, tweeted claiming that and saying that yes, we did the same exact issue, and unfortunately I forgot to bring the
yeah, but I've heard that from several people.
No, he admitted that. Then second, if the source is the Israeli occupation for our information, I'm pretty sure we are in a big problem. Third, the Israeli ambassador mentioned that he did not accept or did not respect the sources of Gaza, which is fair, because I will not criticize him on this issue. The issue is why they deny the right to journalists from all around the world to enter to Gaza, to investigate. At least as journalists, you're gonna meet with the innocent people, then you're gonna prepare your reports to tell at least in this very short time to tell the exact story or part of the story that's happening in this hospital. No, the question is it a habit for the Israeli? Did they do it? Did they conducted same massacre before or not? Yes, through the history.
Yeah,
yes, through the history. Before 1940, before the establishment of the State of Israel, tens of massacres were conducted against that.
In fairness, we're dealing with this particular situation, and the Israelis have presented evidence that they say supports their claim that it was Islamic Jihad's rocket that misfired. What evidence do you have that this explosion was an Israeli airstrike?
Tens of people whom was witnesses the explosion itself, whom is saying that there was an airstrike, bombed this hospital. Also, let me just, I'm not expert in military issue, but also Jihad Islamic, for our bad luck, they started cornering now Jihad Islamic. Still yesterday, they did not mention any word about Jihad Islamic, just cornering Hamas, because they are re-engineering the consciences all around the world. I'm not expert in the issue when it came to the military, but they mentioned that there are tens of thousands of rockets was shelled on and fired against Israel. All of these tens of thousands rockets, we know that there is an explosive hit for each one of it. Did anyone show that this missiles or this rockets destroyed one building there in Israel? It's in a very tiny damage if it is happening. And if there is something wrong from Al Jihad Al Islami with this very tiny explosive head, it should be making a very tiny damage. But to kill 500 innocent people, this is a new, but again, this is not also, this is something new that they use it to kill the people and not to destroy the whole entire hospital.
The argument that's been made, in fairness to what you're saying, is that Islamic Jihad don't have the kind of rockets that could cause that level of damage. And
why they did not, if this is the
that's the point you're making.
Okay, if this is the case, if the Jihad Islami have this type of rockets that make this damage, why this damage while we all know that Jihad Islami was just less than 2 months ago launched many rockets against Israel? Why we did not saw this type of damage?
You mean the rockets misfiring?
Yeah, no. I mean, I mean, if the Jihad Islami or Hamas have this type of rockets that can make this all of damage, why they did not when they issue?
Well, I understand the point you're making. The Israelis say the hospital is not their target and that there was no Israeli airstrike at the time of the incident. They've also said they have audio evidence of communications amongst Palestinian militants about this alleged misfired rocket. If that evidence is made public, it might suggest, might it not, that Israel had nothing to do with this incident.
Great. If this is the case, very soon we should accept both of our sides, to accept that an international and neutral, not biased inquiry commission to come and to investigate this issue. Also, this inquiry commission should include an expert in the military issue. Then they're gonna decide. But we are neutral in this area. Till now, we are saying that we will continue to say that this is an Israeli airstrike, and they will deny this issue. Fair. Let us wait for now. Now, let us call together, we and Israel, together to call for a neutral investigation commission to come and to investigate. Let them allow the journalists.
Well, that is unlikely to happen.
Allow the journalists who
given
is
that
waiting
it is a war zone.
on the other side of Gaza, let them allow them just to enter to Gaza to investigate or to give their reports. Is it fair or not fair?
I understand what you mean, but that is unlikely to happen. I mean, you heard the Israeli ambassador say, I mean, it's an active war zone, so that is improbable.
But 2 years ago,
anyway,
could I come in this? 2 years ago, just the Human Rights Council started or created an investigation commission, inquiry commission to investigate what is happening in the Palestinian territory under the Israeli occupation. They did not allow anyone to enter to it. Period. They did not,
Right.
and they will not allow anyone to enter to investigate what is happening on the ground.
Anyway, let me move to Joe Biden, who was, of course, in Israel today. He was supposed to go to Jordan, but shortly after that explosion last night, Arab leaders, including the Palestinian president Mahmoud Abbas, pulled out of a meeting with him. Do you think that was a mistake on the part of those Arab leaders? I mean, you've got the US president traveling thousands of miles to try to help this situation, and then he gets snubbed by Arab leaders.
Come on. Because wording have a meaning. To help this situation, America and other countries 2 days ago, just last Monday, they paralyzed the Security Council to take a resolution of a human ceasefire. United States of America, led by Mr. Joe Biden himself, Mr. Joe Biden himself, 1 day after one day, I think last Sunday or something like this, 1 day after this escalation, tweeted in his account the same exact line that Mr. Netanyahu tweeted it or published it, killing the baby, cut head the 40 babies, rape the women, God forbidden, of course, and all of this stuff. So that when Mr. Biden is coming to here, he should at least he should announce that not a neutral position, but he is completely
yes,
aligned
I understand
himself.
the point you're making. I mean, there are people who have criticized the American president
aligned
for
themselves.
not taking a neutral position. But would it be fair to say that in the context of what you've just told us, that many Arabs view the US government as not only indifferent to the agony of Palestinians living under Israeli occupation, but also complicit in it, and American pledges of ironclad support, to quote President Biden, for Israel, come what may, have only served to stoke those feelings?
Great question. Again, America itself, since I am the son of the United Nations and I spent there 8 years, United States of America used the veto approximately 80 times during the whole entire history since we create, or the international community create, the Security Council. More than half of it, more than 50% of it, to support Israel against the Palestinian people, period. United States of America, a pledge $10 billion to support Israel in this war. This war against 2.2 million innocent Palestinians. United States of America, since the very first day, sent their aircraft holder to support Israel. They did not hesitate to say that they are backing Israel, unequivocal, unconditional, unshakable support to Israel. This is anyone, any rational, any decent one, anyone know about, not history, anyone know about some sense of politics, know that Israel the United States of America is completely supporting Israel blindly.
Well, they've said it. I mean, they've said it.
This is not mine.
Nevertheless, he also pledged support, financial support.
100 million.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to accept that money?
He will not support it directly to the Palestinian people. Who are going to support it to the, who are going to, of course.
They don't want Hamas to get it. So
come on. We should stop what Hamas, I'm going to back to this in other issue. But the 100 million, for sure it will go to the UNRWA, which is the United Nations body for the relief of the Palestinian people, the relief of the refugee people.
But it'll make a difference, though, won't it?
Every
It'll
single
help.
no, we should be very fair. But again, this is not politics. When I want to compare, this is not politics, because I should not compare $100 million compared to $10 billion. This is beside that $4 billion that in a yearly basis.
In other words, he gives you guys food and then he gives them guns.
Do you want me to remind you, the African, that some country was okay? I did not want to back to the history, especially to the African. He gave us the food, then he did not give us that chance to eat this food, because nobody know that whether those children will be able to drink this milk that the owner
it's a very sad situation in Gaza, but I have to say that it's also sad what happened in Israel.
But for sure, we should be very frank. Yes, it's very sad. But this should take us to the essence of the issue, to the root of the issue.
Right.
Any problem-solving method saying that don't go to the root, to the symptom. This is the symptom. You can have, God forbid, some problematic issue inside your body, but you feel that you are dizzy, you feel you have a headache. Don't go to take a painkiller. Go to dig deep. To find the solution, the right solution. It's very important to say something. Imagine our planet, the whole entire planet, without Hamas. No Hamas. Is it acceptable? Will this solve the problem?
Well, I don't know.
No,
That's a question I have to ask you.
I gonna tell you, it will not solve the problem, because the problem is long time ago, before the creating of Hamas. The problem, Hamas was established, was born 20 years after the Israeli occupation. Hamas born 40 years after Nakba, where they themselves was completely destroy our society. They completely destroy our families, ethnically cleansed us, got rid of us and from the historical land of Palestine. Many things happened in this year, but no one wants to back to this year. Well, so imagine the whole entire world, the planet, the whole entire planet without Hamas. Hamas is finished. Is it okay? Will the Palestinians accept the Israeli occupation? We are used to resist this occupation long time before the establishing of Hamas. This is a resistant movement. Call it Hamas, call it Africa, call it as you like.
Right.
But by the end of the day, there is an occupation. Right. The main source of the problem. And we, as a Palestinian, as a human being, as anyone in this world, we used to resist this occupation. We are resisting, and we will continue to resist it till ever. We will not stop.
So that sort of answers my next and final question, which is, do you think that this incident at the hospital and the kind of attention that it's got, not just within the Middle East, but around the world, the sense of outrage at what has happened, do you think that it'll make the tensions worse or better? It'll lessen the tensions or deepen the tensions?
In 1986, 2 Palestinians was murdered in Birzeit University. Saib Abu Dahab and Jawad Abu Salmiya. This triggered the UN Security Council to meet and to issue to adopt the resolution, and it triggered a lot of horror all around the world. Today, every day, the Palestinian is slain before last October 7th, and no one know about them. It does not make any sense. It does not make, for the whole entire international community, it does not make a news in their screen. This is fact. So that what happened yesterday might be repeated tomorrow or right now. I'm not pretty sure. Then the world will go to not to remember what happened, to forget what remember yesterday, and to start, because yesterday we lose 500. But if we start losing, God forbid, another 1,000 each day or in one shot, this means that this is collateral damage comparing to the new damage that happened.
Well, hopefully it won't get to that. I want to thank you very much indeed. Ambassador Shawesh is the ambassador of Palestine to Nigeria. Thank you very much indeed.